Hi guys, we are going to look at how we translate quantified statements that involve multiple quantifiers into informal language and backwards also vice versa, okay? So this is a good skill so that you can interpret quantified statements correctly. So like this example, like take a look at the graph. If you look at this graph, if you some people may see, hey, this is actually a young lady. This is lady watching towards there. This is a feather decoration, right? So and actually, if you look at it from different perspective, this can be a old lady. Like this is an eye, this is another eye, this is a big mouth, and this is the mouth. This is the big nose. Okay, so this is just showing you sometimes in a for one thing, if you look at it from different perspective, you get different interpretation. Now, this is certainly not okay in math. Otherwise, it will be bizarre, right? So, and let's take a look at these two statements. There is a proctor watching all exams in the testing center, and versus there is a person supervising all faculty members in the math department, okay, in the math and science departments. Well, they do do they have the same structure? What do you think? I do feel like they have the same structure because there is some single a person, and this is another the noun, right? So they are actually the same structure. But do you interpret them in the same way? I would not, because I do know in the testing center on different days, maybe different people is working, different people have different shifts. So therefore, maybe on day Monday, Proctor A is watching all the exams in the testing center. Proctor B will be watching the exams on another day. So therefore, this is not a single person. Now in the second statement, this will be the chair, right? Chair will supervise all faculty member. So here, this will be a single person. So again, this is not okay in math because we do want it to be translated uniformly, no ambiguity. So now here's the convention. When a statement contains more than one kind of quantifier, like here, they're all, right? It's all, more than one. We are going to imagine the actions suggested by the quantifiers as being performed in the order in which the quantifiers occur. So, well, we are going to illustrate this, like how do we think of this as actions in the next, in the examples. Let's take a look at the first example. Here we have three students, Utah, Tim, and Yuan. And here there are different stations, salad station, main course station, desserts, and beverage stations. Now, let's look at the first statement. There exists an item, I, such that, so I is one item from here, such that for all students S, so S is a student from here, S choose I. So the way we read, so in the order the quantifiers occur, right? So therefore, there exists an item. Okay, there exists. Now your job is to, okay, find it, because there exists, right? Find it. So are you able to find an item? Now, what item? For all students, that means no matter which student you pick. So for all students, student will choose this item. So your job is to find an item. So in other words, this is just simply saying, this example is just saying all students choose one item. This one item is the one that I'm trying to emphasize because it says there exists one item, an item. So are you able to find an item that's been chosen by all students? Well, I feel like yes, because we can find a pie, right? Pie is chosen by all these three students. So therefore, this is true. So therefore, yes, we are able to finish this task. We are able to find this one item and chosen by all students. Now let's take a look at the second one. Again, feel free to pause the video and challenge yourself first. The second statement is very similar in structure to the first statement. there exists a student as, so you need to find a student as, again, in the order the quantifier occurs, right? So there exists, that means you gotta find it. Such that for all items I, so here for all items I, you don't really need to find the items because it will be true for all the items. And this student choose all items, right? No matter what item you choose, this particular student choose all items. Basically, this statement is saying a student, one student, chooses all items. Okay, are you able to find a student who picks all the items? In other words, is there a student who, is there a line connecting everything? I don't think so, right? So therefore, this is false statement. Now the next one is for all student, no matter which student you pick, okay? There exists an item I, so there exists an item I here, and the student you pick choose I. Okay, the student you. So for instance, for Utah, can you find an item from here so that Utah choose that item? Yes, I can find more than one, like salad, pie, milk, and so on and so forth, right? Okay, now you pick another one. Okay, Tim, now let me, because it says for all, I can randomly pick one. So Tim, can you find an item so that Tim pick that item? Of course, fruit salad, I can pick more than one, fish, and so on and so forth. Now for Yuan, can you are you able to find an item, and then so that Yuan chose that item? Yes, of course, you see, spaghetti. So therefore, this is true, right? This is true. Now I'm going to say this actually means all students. Okay, all students. So all students, or maybe every, to be better, maybe a better way to say it. Every student picks at least one item. So this is what it means, okay? So now after these a few examples, we are going to summarize how we actually should do it in general. So now if you have, we have two different types, there exists and then for all. So which is, actually which is, there exists and for all, which is this type. There exists and then for all. So now how do you establish the truth of there exists X such that for all Y, P of X, like this kind of example, right? There exists such that for all P of X, Y, okay? So now we already see that to determine whether it is true or false, you really have to find this guy. So here, so in other words, you really have to, in other words, your job is to find, your job is to find X in D such that for all Y in E, no matter what Y is chosen, P of XY is true. Okay, so here's your job is to find this amazing guy, okay, and Y P of XY is true, no matter which Y you choose. So that's the goal. Now for all exists, like for all X, there exists Y such that P of XY, which is something like this guy, this statement. How do you verify, how do you determine the truth value of this type? And now think about this, your job or your challenge or your job is to, okay, so now just just imagine that ask someone to arbitrarily pick an X, okay? So just to say, allow someone to pick X. So this X is actually, I want to emphasize it's arbitrary. So any X indeed. And then what is your job? And then here's your job, okay? And then your job is to find what do you want to find? Find at least one Y, right? Find at least one Y in E, of course, such that this is true. P of X, Y is true. Okay, so that's the rule. So here's your job is to find this. Okay, that's the highlight. And let's continue our exercise. Let's take a look at the part D. So now let's trace back to this graph. There exists a student S such that for all station Z, there exists an item I in Z such that S choose I. So now we have there exists, for all there exists, and so on and so forth, right? So this is a little more advanced than the previous one. So now, how would you interpret this guy? So here's how I would interpret it, and feel free to pause and if you want to leave yourself a little room to think about it. So again, my job is to find a student, so that for all station Z, there is one item. Okay, so no matter which station you pick, there is a one item from the station you pick, so that this student choose that item. So in other words, my job is to find a student. So basically, let me first interpret what this means. This means some students, because it says there exists a student, right? So some students picks at least one item. Why does I say at least one item? Because no matter what station you pick, you let someone pick, you are able to find one item. That means at least one item from this station. So from because you are allowing someone to pick arbitrary stations, so that means you are not restricting which station we are talking about. So therefore, from each station. So are you able to find someone? This is you need to do this. You need to find such a student who is really eager to try all the food. A food from each station. So are you able to find it? I think yes. We are certainly seeing that Tim is picking one from salad bar, and also one from the main course, one from the dessert, and one from the beverage, right? So Tim actually picked one from each. So therefore, this has to be true. At least we find Tim. And actually, if you look at Utah is also true, right? Gets one item from each, and then we Utah, okay? And this example is for all student S and for all station Z, there exists an item I in Z, S choose I. Okay. So in other words, no matter what students you pick and no matter which station you pick, you can always find an item in the station that student S choose the I. That means well, think about it. Are you able to find a person or an item that meets all these requirements? Okay. Well, here's the actually this statement is false. And why so? Because Yuan did not pick this, right? did not pick this because just imagine you let someone pick people yuan, and then now I'm gonna pick a arbitrary pick a say seller is picked. There exists an item I in this station. Is there some item I in this station so that yuan picks that item? No, because yuan did not pick any item from there, right? So the false because yuan did not pick any salad, right? Salad. All right, so this is the first part of this section. I hope that you enjoy what we are learning. And by the way, let me end this section by like giving you a little extra example. So if I say there exists a person X such that for all people Y loves X, okay? And then I'm gonna duplicate this guy. Well, I'm gonna just write it. So for all people Y, there exists a person X such that Y loves X. Well, here's my challenge. How would you interpret these two statements? They look so alike, and the only difference is I just swap, like move these to the front and move these to the back, right? Okay. So now, how would you correctly interpret it? And let's find. And again, pause the video if needed. Okay. So for the first one, there exists a person X. That means you need to find such a person X, so that all people, no matter who, you just let someone else pick all people, and the people being chosen loves this X. So in other words, this means they're such an amazing, so attractive person, so that everybody loves this person. Okay. So in other words, everybody loves one single person. Okay, this person is the one so special. Only everybody loves this one person. Okay. Now take a look at the second one. Now for all people, so just have someone pick arbitrary people. Say John. Okay, so John, or sometimes may pick Amy and whoever, and like no matter which one you pick. Say for instance for John, pick John. And are you able to, your job is to find a person that John loves. So in other words, John loves a person if you're able to find it. Now if you change to Amy, and then you just, for Amy, are you able to find able to find a person Amy loves? Okay, so in other words, basically if you're able to do that, that means no matter what people you choose, you can always find a person that people will love the people you're chosen. Okay, that in other words, in a plain language, English language, this means every person, every people loves someone, right? Someone. There exists one X. Okay. So therefore, these two are completely mean different things. But the only difference here, they are like only the order is different. Okay. All right. This is the part one.